I won a book raffle. I won a book raffle, and I'm going to tell you how I did it, as if I have like tips and tricks. Background. So in my hometown, there is this bookstore that was ran out of an old house in downtown, and people loved this bookstore for good reason. It was adorable. They announced a few months ago the gal who owned it was going to sell her business because she just couldn't do it anymore. So people were really upset in our town about this, and then another bookstore said, hey, we are going to take over the business. Well, not the business. It's another business, but they are going to have the business in that house. Because the fear was, oh, if she's selling the house, then is somebody just going to live in the house? Is that not going to be a bookstore anymore? That would be weird. But no, there was another bookshop that said, hey, we will take over that space. And everyone was very relieved because they still had a very cute bookstore. So I decided to go in during their first opening week for Small Business Saturday, during Black Friday, and they had the cutest little setup. They were like, oh, come in, and at certain times there would be people reading books to kids, and then they also had complimentary apple cider, and they also said that for every children book bought, they would donate a book to a child in need. So I'm like, great, I'm very pro children reading books. So I decided to go to the store and buy a kid's book. And that kid's book was a really expensive kid's book, but it was for a good cause, so I felt good about it. And then right as I was buying the book, because I only bought that one book, I saw that along with the treats and the free apple cider, which of course is the main reason why I came, was the complimentary apple cider, as well as the cause. The cause was good too. The apple cider helped. They had a raffle box. I didn't even read what the prize was going to be, but I was like, look, it's gotta be good. It's probably like a free book with your purchase or something like that. I was thinking super small that way. They said, well, the prize is actually a $100 gift certificate to this store, which is crazy. I put my name in the raffle before they told me that, and I was just thinking, whatever, it's just a silly thing. I was one of the last people to show up to the event, so I figured they're gonna mix up the box. There's no way they're going to take my name out of it. It's just fun. It's just fun to put your name in there, imagine what it would be like, and then, forget about it. Well, a few days later, I was randomly scrolling on my Instagram, and I was scrolling through this bookstore's Instagram because it was super cute. They had a bunch of really cute posts. I had made a bunch of cute little story posts on my end of what the bookstore looked like because it was adorable. I mean, how could you not? And then I saw my name. And at first I thought, oh, did they just tag me in something saying, oh, thanks for sharing this? Because that's usually what happens whenever you share, videos in your story about a business. But no, it said $100 raffle winner. I screamed and I celebrated with my husband, and I immediately went over the next day and bought all of my books. In fact, I bought more books than the $100 certificate. I bought $133 worth of books. But you know what? Worth it. Totally worth it. So I wanted to do a little bit of a haul, and I wanted to show you the books that I got basically for free. All right, I'm gonna move this. Make it lower. Come, sit with me. There we go. First book, which is going to be a duplicate book, I bought two of the same book, is Charlotte's Web. Now, for those of you who don't know, I am actually a part of a community service group through the local library here. Basically, what I do is I help a learner get to their reading level. And dependent on who you're paired with, you could be paired with an adult who's wanting to get up to the 7th grade level, or you're paired with a child that's a little bit behind on their reading level, and it's a free program. It's really great. So we meet weekly, and my learner is just the cutest kid ever. I really enjoy my time with them, and they really like chapter books, which was kind of a surprise to me because I was under the impression that someone who would be a little bit behind in their reading level would be overwhelmed by chapter books, but they really like them. So they had a birthday a few weeks ago, And the mom initially was like, oh, let's cancel the session because they probably don't want to do a tutoring session on their birthday, even though we have such a fun time together. And then the day before her birthday, their mom asked, can we actually have a session? She's really sad that she can't have a tutoring session. And I wasn't able to do it because I had to book a room and the room wasn't booked. But to make it up to them, I am going to be giving them some books. So we've got Charlotte's Web, which I think, looking at this, it's probably going to be really, really big and potentially above her reading level. Potentially. I think that she could do it, but it's a big book. It's a big one. So I hope that she likes it. I hope that they haven't heard of Charlotte's Web or they haven't read it. I never know like what books kids know about, because sometimes I mention books that I think kids know and they don't know about them. So that's going to be for my learner. My learner also has another set of books that they really love. They really, really love Amelia Bedelia. Look at her. She's so goofy. I don't know if they have this book yet, but if they do, they get another one. And if they don't, huzzah, they got Amelia Bedelia books. So those two are actually just birthday gifts. Now on to the next section, which is me getting to a point in my life where I'm like, I want to have kids. Like kids is on the horizon for me. I'm 28, I'm turning 30 in a couple of years, and I feel like my 20s is dying down. Like we're getting into the territory where it's like, oh, it makes sense to want to have kids. This caused a new problem. The new problem being, I want to buy all of the children books for them. You gotta be prepared. Like you can't just show up empty-handed when a baby shows up and is like, where's my books? I'm not gonna let that happen. Here are some of the books that I gifted for them. I was super excited to see this guy, Frog and Toad series. If you guys have not read Frog and Toad, they are probably just the most relatable characters in the history of characters. And it was really great that I got all three in one set, which is the main reason why I bought this one. It says that it's the age group of like 4 to 8. I don't know what 4-year-old is reading this. Like that's like gifted child. Who knows? I might have gifted child. Who knows? You never know. This one is technically kind of a kid's book, but I got it for me. The Little Prince. Look at how adorable he is. Look at this little guy. Oh my God. So I've been wanting this book for a while, and when I was in high school, I actually used to take French classes. Do not ask me to tell you anything about the French language. I have forgotten all of it. I recognize some things here and there. I cannot speak French. But one of the big things that they did in some of the upper classes is that they would read The Little Prince in French. So this is one of the books where it's a little bit, from what I can understand, it's like a good way to learn French. It might not be an exact translation, but it's at least a good start to really get yourself accustomed to reading French, which is so much harder than speaking it. Oh my gosh, I cannot believe how much harder it was for me to learn how to speak something versus to write it. Crazy. So that's another technically kids book, but it's really for me. And then, of course, we have the copy of Charlotte's Web. I didn't have a copy, so I got 2 of them because they had 2 copies. All right, next one. This one's a good one. So, a Netflix movie has recently come out about this book, and I am so stoked to get around to watching it, which is Frankenstein. So, I loved the story of Frankenstein. Basically, I was trying to do this series around Halloween, which in theory was a really cute idea. In practice, took a lot of work. I wanted to read, I think it was like a week's worth of spooky stories or scary stories for Halloween, and I had not read Frankenstein yet. And I cannot believe how incredible the story of Frankenstein is, like the original story. And I was so irritated that there were no movies, really, rather than one of the first renditions that was about the original, like, book story of Frankenstein, which, by the way, Frankenstein is not the monster, that is creature. Frankenstein's the guy who made the creature. I know that that has been misconstrued, many a time because of the representation that Frankenstein's monster has, but I want you to know that I know that. I was super excited to see this. I didn't have my own copy. I was kind of holding out on getting a nicer copy, but honestly, I don't want to wait anymore. And so this is my copy of Frankenstein, which I'm so excited about. Ooh, okay, another Netflix reference. You guys have been watching Stranger Things. If anyone's been watching Stranger Things, you will know that A Wrinkle in Time is a big portion of the 5th season. A funny story about A Wrinkle in Time. I tried to read A Wrinkle in Time when I was younger, and I think I tried to read it when it was a little above my reading level, so I really didn't understand a lot that was going on, but I did get to the scene where they got to the world where all of the moms were doing the same thing and all the kids were bouncing, you know, the red ball on the driveway exactly the same, and then I just kind of lost interest. So I figured that I would read it again, and this time, understanding it, have a more clearer picture of what the book's really about, because I've only heard really great things about it. So, A Wrinkle in Time. So many Netflix series references. If I had a nickel for each Netflix reference for the books that I bought, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird to happen twice. Ooh, okay. So, a little preface on this book. Generally, I have to kind of make a rule for myself with buying books that are self-help books, because a lot of the time, there are self-help books that are really self-explanatory, where it's like you did not have to write an entire book to tell me a very basic concept in my mind. And then some of them are bogus. I have a whole entire video that I've been working on. I kid you not, for months. The editing is just very next level for what I'm usually used to doing for films on this channel. And so I've been stalling. I've been putting it off. I've been procrastinating it. I made it like July or August, somewhere around there. Okay, maybe more like September, but still, it's December now. So I've been putting it off for a few months because it's been a hell of a project. The reason why I bought this book and I was okay with buying this book is because it reminded me a lot of what my therapist a few years ago would talk to me about. And I haven't been back to therapy since then. I honestly really should go back to therapy. This book is called No Bad Parts. And the therapist that I had talked about parts a lot. Like, she talked about, oh, here is the part of you that worries, and then the part of you that like wants to be better. Like, they conflict with each other, but none of them are bad. And so I was really taken by this title. I'm hoping that whoever is the PhD person who wrote this is a PhD in like mental health stuff and not something random that always ends up happening somehow. My hot take is, if you are not a specialist or an expert in it, don't write a self-help book about it. Like, don't. Just don't waste our time. Don't waste your time. If you had enough time to write a book about it, you had enough time to be exceptional and like certified in it. You know, that's my take. That's my take. All right, last one. This last one, I know very little about this book. It is a science fiction book, which you know I love science fiction. This book is called Red Rising. Now, my best friend recommended this book to me. This was after she recommended Fourth Wing, and we're reading it together. Or should I say, she read all of Fourth Wing, and then she told me, have you read Fourth Wing yet? And was not leaving me alone until I read Fourth Wing, and now I'm on Iron Flame. I'm about like halfway done with it, and I'm really enjoying it. I am really enjoying the book. So when she told me about this, I was very interested, and she gave me a small rundown of what the book was about, but nothing too much. She didn't give too much away. She's very good at doing that. She's very good at knowing what I will like without giving too much away. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is this pile in here. That is the haul. I have had to make some parameters with myself a little bit because I don't have a lot of self-control with books. And the parameter was initially that I was really trying to think about the books that I wanted physical copies of. Okay, can you go? Thank you. I made 2 rules for myself, 2 exceptions of being able to get, well, I guess 3. It's like 2.5 of getting physical books. One of them being, if I already had half of the series, it's okay to continually get the rest of the books of the series so that they can all match. And worst comes to worst, if I don't like the series when I read it, at least I can resell it together rather than just selling one book at a time. Second type of book that I wanted to get was anything that is considered a banned book. I am a little bit more particular about getting a copy of it, a legitimate copy of it, because you never know what the internet is going to do in the future, and it will be nice to be prepared, especially in these trying times in our nation. And then third, if I have read the book before and I would suggest it to a friend, or if I would read it again. That is like the parameters that I've set up with myself, because I don't have a lot of space on my shelf, and none of these books really fit that category. So I broke the rule. But it's not every day that you get a $100 gift certificate for an indie bookstore. So you gotta take advantage of it, you know? Thank you so much for watching this very haphazard, chaotic video about me sharing all of the books that I got basically for freezies. It was very fun. I would highly suggest that you go to your indie bookstores and give them some love and support. It's good to see you guys again. I know that I continuously make a lot of, I don't want to say excuses, but I think that I try and over-explain myself way too much whenever I do leave YouTube for a little while. And I'm not going to do that here, but what I will say is that I am very grateful to the couple of people that reached out and double-checked to see if I was okay. They saw that I was active on Instagram and I just wasn't posting anything on YouTube, and I didn't realize that I was missed that much. So that gave me a little bit of oomph to make a video, even if it's crazy. Until next time, sayonara, you guys, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.